O Lord, may the words of my mouth and meditation of each and every one of our hearts be acceptable in your sight. For you are our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Remember back to when you got your first job? Remember how much you got paid? You might not remember the dollar amount, but I'm sure it was right in line with something that we like to call minimum wage. Right? I worked in a Burger King, minimum wage. Thought it was a lot of money until I saw the pay stub and taxes they took out. I was like, what is this stuff here? And the thing about that was the more you worked, the more hours you were there, the more money you got. If you needed some extra money and you had a decent boss, you'd go up to the boss and say, boss, I need some money. Can I get some extra hours this week? And if your boss was nice, the boss would say, sure, I'll give you some extra hours. And you'd get a little bit more money. And they'd take you more taxes. Now, as I got older, something changed. I stopped working for an hourly rate, and I went on something called salary. For those of you who have been on salary, you're familiar with that. It seems really, really good up front. Up front, it seems good, doesn't it? It seems good, because you get the same amount of money. You get X amount of dollars, and if I don't have to work that much, I still get X amount of dollars. And then you find out the thing that Brenda was shaking her head about, that if you got to work extra and longer and there's extra stuff to be done, you don't get any more money. And then you say, it's not fair, right? That's why this parable that Jesus told kind of gets to us a little bit. Because it's not fair. These guys went probably 6 in the morning, came 6-ish at night, so they worked like 12 hours. And they got the average daily wage, and that was a denarius. A denarius was enough money to buy food for a day for your family. And he agreed with them to work that way. I actually had, when I was up in Rockland County, if you're familiar with Rockland County, Route 59 is one of the commercial highways out there. Kind of like 46, where there's all stores on either side of it. And up in Spring Valley, which is one of the more impoverished areas, when you drove down there, during the day, you would see people standing on the side of the road, just hanging out, groups of people, just hanging out near a bus stop or something, or even not near a bus stop. And I wondered about this for a while, and I asked, and it turned out that what these guys were, they were people who were looking for day labor. They were standing around hoping that somebody would come up and offer them a job so that they would have money to buy food for their family for that day. And even when you went through there late in the afternoon, you'd still see people hanging out. I didn't get a whole, but maybe somebody will get me for something, and at least I'll be able to get something. That's exactly what this situation is here. Because Jesus would always use situations people were familiar with. And that's what happened. You had unskilled laborers, people standing around waiting for a job. And a landowner would go out, and he'd need more workers, the harvest came or whatever, and he'd need extra people. And he'd go out to this market and say, come with me, I'll pay you to work in my field. And then if you needed more, he'd go back. We want things to be, I guess the best word is equity. We want to be compensated for what we give or what we do. It's inherent in us to say that if I do more than Justin, then I should get more than Justin. It's only fair, right? The parable today and the Old Testament lesson both speak to a very, very different way of thinking. Now you go back to this Old Testament lesson, remember this is the Israelites have been rescued out of Egypt. All the plagues and everything, Pharaoh let them go. They head out, they go over to the Red Sea. They're camped there, Pharaoh changes his mind, sends his army. God puts up a pillar of fire to block the army. Moses puts out his arms with his staff. The wind blows all night. A path opens in the sea. They walk through. The pillar of fire disappears, and the Egyptian army charges through to take them out. And the sea closes over them and wipes out the most powerful army on the face of the earth. The people then go to Mount Sinai or Mount Horeb, it's known by both names, to receive God's law and to worship God. Moses goes up on a mountain, shrouded in clouds. He's up there for a while. He's up there for like 40 days. People start to get worried because Moses was the guy. You know, when it was time to leave, they looked, they saw Moses standing up there. And you could see Moses, and that gave you some confidence. But now Moses is going up there, and he's been up there a very long time. The Bible says 40 days, could have just been a long time. 40 days is figure of speech, it could mean a long time. And you're like, you know, is he dead? Is he even alive anymore? Maybe we can go back to Egypt. Because at least we'll get some food there. Yeah, we got to do that work, but at least we'll get some food. We won't starve to death. We're in the desert here. There's nothing around. Well, if we're going to go back to Egypt, we better do something to kind of, let's build a Egyptian god. We'll build a calf. They grabbed Aaron, Moses' brother, who spoke for him. Moses had a speech about him. And forced him to build a golden calf for them. And they figured they'll carry this in front of them, so when the Egyptians see it, rather than just slaughtering them, they'll see this as a way, yes, we agree with you, we are repenting on what we did was wrong, and we are right with what's Egyptian, and we will be subject to you. Look, here's our God who we brought before us to testify to that. When Moses comes down the mountain and sees this, gets incensed, takes the tablets with the commandments and throws them, and they break. And half of the Israelites get wiped out for this great sin. Moses goes back on the mountain. God's ready to wipe them all out. Moses argues with God for the people. God says, okay, just the ones who are active in this corruption. And they get wiped out. Moses goes back up. God gives him another set of 10 commandments. So he says, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you guys, I'm going to bring you to a land that is flowing with milk and honey. A rich land, a good land, where things grow great. And it's beautiful, and you'll be there. It's the land that I promised to your ancestor Abraham. And they go over to the border of the land, and they, okay, let's go ahead and in. There's people living there, so we're going to have to fight them. They've already fought, so they're a pretty good army. And they go in, some spies go in to see what's going on, and they come back and they're freaked out. And they say that there's giants there. We can't prevail against these guys. They're going to wipe us out. Joshua, who's one of them, said, well, yeah, they're big, but God's with us. And if we got God on us, I don't need to worry about anything. Oh, no, they're too big. Even God can't do it. God can do it. Oh, no. And so God said, fine, we're all going to die. You're going to wander in the desert for 40 years until you're all dead, and then I'll bring your kids in. Get rid of you guys who don't want to believe me and follow me. And so they head out into the desert. And they start to complain. We have no water. We're going to die of thirst out here in this wilderness. You, Moses, brought us out here to kill us. God, Moses goes, I think it's these people ready to stone me. What I'm going to do is stand in front of this rock, strike it with your staff, and water will flow out in front of you. So he does that, and people are happy. And then they start to grumble again, and that's when we get to this lesson. When we were in Egypt, we had pots of meat, and we had bread, unlimited bread, we had oil. You ever see any slaves that were treated that good? I mean, unlimited bread, unlimited meat, everything you could possibly need, the life is great. They're out there in the desert making bricks out of straw to build these huge temples and stuff. Absolutely, selective amnesia. You remember the good, you forget the bad. And so they start to complain again, and Moses goes to God. God says, fine, you'll have meat in the morning and you'll have bread at night. And so in the morning, the quails come and cover the camp and fall out of the sky. And they have meat. They have meat to eat that God gave them. And in the evening, there's a dew. Oh, in the morning, I'm sorry. Meat in the evening. The dew in the morning. And when the dew lifts, there's this powdery white stuff on the ground. People look at it, what the heck is that? What is it? In Hebrew? Manna, right. And they would gather up enough for that day. If they tried to keep any for the next day, it would rot and get worms in it and stuff. So what they had to do is they had to go to God for provision every single day. Give us this day our daily bread, right? They had to trust that God would provide for them. For the Sabbath, when you're not to do any work, you were allowed to collect 2 days' worth. But any other day, it would rot and it wouldn't be any good. So God is training the people to rely on God. Now, again, there's this whole fairness thing that we like to talk about. What did the Israelites do to deserve God feeding them? They did exactly the opposite, didn't they? You ever have somebody that you did something nice for, and all they did is complain and moan and grumble about it? Did you want to do it again? Not really. I might have anyway, but I really was not that enthusiastic about it. And that's where the Israelites were. All they're doing is complaining and grumbling and moaning. And remember, these were the guys that saw the Nile turn red. And the sun turned dark at noontime, and the hail that turned into fire, and the death of the first. They saw all that stuff. They saw the pillar of fire and the pillar of cloud. These guys saw this stuff with their own eyes, and they were still complaining and moaning and grumbling against Moses, God's messenger. But yet God took care of them anyway. God gave them water, God gave them meat, God gave them bread. God took care of what they needed. It wasn't until they crossed into the promised land that the manna stopped. Every day of those 40 years that they wandered in the desert, God gave them what they needed to survive. This parable Jesus tells kind of says the same thing. If God were fair in this instance. Now remember what Paul said? Paul was writing about the law and how hard it was to obey the law. 613 precepts in the law. It covered every aspect of your life. Every single thing you did, every minute of every day, the law impacted someone. And it was impossible to keep every aspect of the law. It just is not humanly possible. You're going to screw up at some point. You're not going to think and you're going to do something. You know, it's a Sabbath and something falls without thinking. You look down, pick it up, put it back like, I just screwed up. I disobeyed the law. Well, disobedience of the law means death. So, we can't have eternal life and be with God if we disobey the law. And Paul said, you know, if you disobey the big thing, you know, you and I will look at the big thing and say the big thing is worse than the little thing. But Paul says also, if you disobey the little thing, you still broke the law. Big thing, little thing, you still broke the law. And if you broke the law, you can't go to be with God. So what are we supposed to do? There's an inherent unfairness there. If we break the law and we deserve death for breaking the law, how come we don't get death? And if I accept Christ when I'm his size, I mean, you didn't run away from it, did you? Girls run away from you, boys don't run away. There's something like that. Or I accept Christ at my state, or when I'm older. You know, shouldn't those of us, like Peter asked to prompt this parable, those of us who came to God earlier and served God for most of our life, shouldn't we get more? And the people come later, well, you know what? They wasted their whole life. They went after all this other stuff. They didn't do the right things. They did this, that, the other thing. How come they get what I get? It's not fair. It's been said that justice is when you get what you deserve. Mercy is when you don't get what you deserve. But grace is when you get what you don't deserve. God's grace, God's love and care for us, provides for us regardless of who we are, where we are up here too. God loves us not because of what we've done, because of what we are. Because we are who we are. Good, bad, and different. God loves us anyway. My easiest way of equating that to the human experience is, you know, the trial of some serial killer or something. When you see pictures of the courtroom or video or whatever, almost always, if she's alive, his mom's sitting behind him. And his mom's there with him. Father, not so much. Well, sometimes you see a father, but not so much. But you always see the mother. Because the mother loves her kid, regardless of what her kid has done, regardless of how disappointed she is, regardless of how hurt she is. She still loves her kid. And that's Kind of like how God loves us, only put that on steroids. And therefore God takes care of us and gives to us what we need. God's desire is that we respond to what God is doing. That we approach God in love. God's grace, God's love is available to all of us, all the time. God is constantly reaching out to us. What do we have to do with it? Choose whether or not we'll respond. Let's pray. Lord God, there's a song called Amazing Grace. And it's called amazing because it's just beyond our comprehension. Your love and care for us when we do things that are abhorrent to you. Yet you continue to love us and provide for us. So God, we come this morning thanking you for that grace. Thanking you for your love. Thanking you for all the ways that you're in our lives, even when we don't want you there. Because you love and care for us. God, help us to reflect that kind of love to all the people who are in our lives. That through our interaction with them, they might see you shining through us. And God, for those folks we know in our lives who are struggling with all different types of things, we ask that you might visit them with a special sense of your presence, and that you might use us as your instruments, your physical presence with them, that they might know that your grace is available to them and that your grace is indeed sufficient for whatever it is that is troubling them. And for the people that we know personally, God, we come lifting their names, knowing that by bringing our problems and our concerns to you, love will rule. For all those who are serving the military and are suffering under the various military engagements that are happening throughout our world, Lord, in your mercy,